I know you just got back from that North Carolina cookout. How you feeling about that? How everything go down there?
It went good. It went real good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Working for the Lord. Say again.
Most High Christ, General.
Damn right.
Damn right. General, first and foremost, I wanted to say to Wada for joining us for this brief interview leading up to Midwest Fire Weekend. Of course, you know what I mean? The past few fire weekends, we've been having you doing amazing lectures. And doing one this year. You understand? And I wanted to, I ain't want to get at people too much, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be, but just a few questions on why this lecture is so important for our people at this particular time, John.
Right.
So, John, I wanted to ask you, starting off, why this title for this lecture, General? You understand? What's the significance behind this title?
Yeah, read that title.
Yes, sir.
Doing a little quick thing. What? Got General Muhammad in the building. Yabba Zakata, Ibaha Yah, Officer Marat, Officer Yadai. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of what kind. The title, General, is Are we done yet, and where do we go from here?
Yeah, are we done yet? Meaning, with everything that's going on in the world and the revoking of citizenship, are we done, General? You ain't stopping nothing. You ain't stopping nothing. No, because I think the camera's just narrowly on me. Sorry about that. Did I mess all this up? We need to do this again?
No. You good, John?
I'm good. Cool. All right. Are we done yet? Because what a lot of blacks and Latinos are asking, and Native Indians is that it for us as a part of America?
Right.
Are we going to be separated? Are they going to do us in? They talk about building alligator Alcatraz and all these different prisons and all that.
Right.
So that's the first half that needs to be answered for our people's sake. And it's just straight love for our people to really want these answers, to really want to give them these answers.
Yes, sir.
Give them some comfort in the Most High.
And
then the other half is, where do we go from here? Where do we go to get us where we need to go?
Right, General.
So we don't turn back. You know what I mean? Many times we've been in danger. Many times as a people, we've been in danger under the hands of these nations that we fall under.
General.
Just for the same reason. So the short answer to the question is no, we're not done.
That's right.
We're nowhere near done.
Yes, sir.
We just getting started. You know what I'm saying? That's the short answer. Slug it. We just getting started. We just starting to come together as a nation, rise up as a nation, and be a real body unto Christ.
Yes, sir.
So no, we're not done. Many nations try to destroy us, but here's where we do have to go from here.
Yes, sir.
Something we don't necessarily always want to do, but we had better do it. And what that is we had better take a good look and examination of ourselves after having been underneath the hands of our enemy for 400 years. Examine, is our lifestyle really right according to God?
That's right.
We're supposed to do something different. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Example of it is this brother that blew his hand up this week.
Yeah,
man, the brother lost his hand. He got to walk around with. So imagine you got to walk around for the rest of your life with your hand jammed up, knowing that you went out and used fireworks to try to cause some stupid shit like that. One thing if you get it, in an accident or something like that, but you go out there and do something like this, I mean, goddamn.
Yes, sir.
To this brother. So we got to have mercy, and we got to understand that we don't want to down this brother.
Right.
What we do want to do is try to utilize his story and other stories just like it to encourage us, man, to really take a deep look at what it's going to take to go forward. Because if America's going to turn their back on us,
yes, sir,
they have been. They really never was with us. Damn near rhetorical. But if they're going to do what they're going to do, then we're gonna really need to focus in on the Lord to do something different.
Yes, sir.
The Israelite School UPK has always been up for that since 1969, and we'll continue to be up for it. We'll continue to fix that type of situation.
Yes, sir. Kind of one kind, John. Also, John, I wanted to ask you, who is your focus, and what is your focus for this particular election?
Who is my focus? Well, definitely our Latino brothers. But all 12 tribes are in mortal danger without the Most High right now.
Yes, sir.
All 12 tribes are in mortal. We're doing a quick tape. Good to see you. Yeah, we all the 12 tribes are in mortal danger right now. And we're gonna come together, and it's time for us to be strong, and it's time for us to stop turning on each other.
That's
all
right.
The things that we've been saying in Israelite School UBK, they're getting ready to come to pass right now.
Yes, sir.
Then not only they're getting ready to come to pass, but we had better also fulfill those things that are required by the Most High.
Yes, sir.
Focus is mainly on the Latino tribes because they're in the beginning of it. Even though they're stepping it up to the Haitians, I already said they were going to step it up to the other Benjamite tribes, the Levite tribes. The Haitians, they finally figured out that what we've been saying on that street all this time was true.
Yes, sir.
And they're going into panic mode. And they now trying to survive. They know that they now got the Lord's 12 tribes in their hands, and they concerned and scared to death.
Yes, sir.
So now they want to get rid of the Latinos, the Benjamites, and they want to get rid of so-called Black Americans, the tribe of Judah.
Yes, sir.
All of them. So they want to carry it out step by step by step until it goes wherever they want it to go.
Yes, sir.
They're not even focused on the other tribes. So we're going to focus on. I mean, they're not even focused on the other people that are in this country and are doing what they're doing. Instead, they totally focus on us. What a lot of people don't know is that tens of thousands of so-called Israelis were over there in Gaza taking up land, buying land from confiscated land from the Palestinians.
Yes,
they
sir.
were putting Palestinians off the land, some of them fighting in the battle with Hamas, killing them and all that. And then they get to come back to the United States and act like they're just a regular American.
Right.
Nobody questions their dual citizenship or anything.
Yes, sir.
So let them focus on them. We'll focus on the 12 tribes.
Damn right, General Wakanda. You know, I kind of want to throw this one in, seeing what time it is and the things that's going on. And I've been noticing a lot of Black people are wondering, should they be involved in the struggle with the Hispanics and what they're going through? You know what I mean? Should Black people be concerned with Hispanic problems, so to speak? What did you say?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hope everybody joins me tonight on Real General Yohana tonight, because tonight I'm going to reveal a story about a Jamaican who was born here in the U.S. His father was a Jamaican, came to the United States, got his citizenship, joined the military, spent 18 years in the military fighting wars for the United States of America. He had a son born here, an American citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Son got in an altercation, got evicted from his apartment, went back on the property to get something from the apartment, and they arrested him. ICE agents showed up and deported him to Jamaica. This man has never been to Jamaica, and he's a U.S. citizen.
Right.
But because his father's not a U.S. citizen, they got rid of him, and now he's got to fight it out in court.
Oh, God.
That's one example of the different dirty tricks that they are attempting to use in order to not respect the law or the citizenship of the United States.
Yes, sir.
White people are going to pay a hefty price for this because they don't understand. Donald Trump is teaching them to hate us, and all the while, really radicalizing white America. And he's going to radical white America and then he's going to send them all to war.
Yes, sir.
And all their sons and daughters killed.
Colonel Khan, John. Yes, sir. John, I got one last question. I ain't want to keep you all night. Again, I appreciate you joining me for this small segment. As the lecture approaches, it'll be August 1st during Fire Weekend right here at the Chicago School, 9909 Roosevelt Road. And
I look so forward to it. Go ahead, Officer.
Absolutely, sir. And seeing on that day, are we done yet, and where do we go from here? For those who have never heard of Commander Jenny Hunter, what will they take away from this lecture if they in attendance or if they tune in? What will they take away from this lecture?
Well, first of all, they'll take away a good peace of mind. A good peace of mind because they'll have a better understanding of what is going on, what is going to happen in the future according to the Lord.
Yes, sir.
They're going to have a better understanding of that, number one. And that's comfort, number one. Number two, they're going to find out what is really important.
Yes, sir.
Now we come into the time where you're going to learn what is really important and what has not been important.
Right.
And you can learn just how strong or weak you and all your people are. So they're going to be able to take away that. And
yes,
of course, all of the other usuals, a close understanding of the Lord, a close understanding of, who we are as a people and why the Israelites do what we do.
That's right.
A good, close understanding of it.
I know what kind, John. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Well, listen, I appreciate you, General, joining us for this small segment. Are we done yet? Where do we go from here? August 1st, Midwest Fire Weekend is going down. It's a free lecture by Commander Jenny Hunter. We hoping all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians will be in attendance. We also will be streaming it free as well. And so we appreciate you for that as well, General, for leaving down.
I appreciate you having me. I look forward to it. I'll see you soon. Yeah. What's going on, Israel? Commander General Yohana, ISUPK, doing it like we do. I can't stop, and I ain't gonna use no baby oil. We're gonna do it right, right? Okay, we're gonna keep it righteous. But we're gonna keep pushing this truth to save brothers and sisters' life. So I'm on today to tell you about the Midwest Fire Weekend. Now, brothers out of Chicago and the whole Midwest, Detroit, Kentucky, who else they got? Indianapolis. I mean, there's a ton of cities in that Midwest. Forgive me if I missed your city. And all those brothers are going to come together for the Midwest Fire Weekend. And what's going to happen in the Midwest Fire Weekend? It's the biggest and best, one of the biggest and best opportunities for you to get a close-up look at your brothers teaching this truth. A lot of you brothers are out there, been studying, you joining the knowledge, you ready to go, you got to hit that street eventually, you getting your crew together, y'all working on these scriptures, but this is what I want you to understand. I want you to take a moment and come through the ISUPK so you can wash all them lies that they've been telling you about before you get here. You're gonna have to do that for yourself so you don't get played out here. So this week, that weekend, July 31st to August 3rd, I got General Muhammad here. All of you seen his class. Nobody matches it. He's bad to the bone with the knowledge of the truth. I got Cat McCord with me right here. Another bad cat, runs the Hebrew Academy. You see all of them tapes all over the internet, busting millions of views right now, killing the game. You understand? I got brothers coming through to do expungement. Got so much freely to every brother to show you that the greatest weapon we ever had that was given to us from Christ was a real brotherhood. Midwest Fire Weekend, I don't care where you at in the country, take a moment, get in them wheels, hop on that plane, July 31st to August 3rd, go on one of our websites, pull up the hotel, come on out there, bring your crew, you all right. I know a lot of y'all be thinking we too militant, we too hard.
Brother, we've been fighting for this truth since 1969. We gonna be hard, but it don't mean you in any danger. We need each other now. You need to not just be out there on your own. With everything that Trump is doing and America's doing, we need to bring the body together. So, come on down. I'm doing my lecture. I don't do that many lectures, but I'm doing the lecture this year. A couple of them actually. And one of them will be during that weekend, and we'll be talking about everything Trump and them's doing. The third world sport with Iran, Saudi Arabia, the Israelis, they still over there shooting. They just hit a air base in Jordan. They killed 3 soldiers, wounded 34 others. Both sides are arming up like crazy. Ain't nothing stopped. They had a little ceasefire, but they're arming up like crazy. Now China is bringing a new jet. What's the name of that jet?
J-10C.
The J-10C. This is a super duper high power jet. It's a jet made to compete with the F-16 and the F-32 it is? The F-35. So that's they top, they bring in their top dogs into the theater. But here's what the Chinese got. Their jet can put 12 missiles on the bottom of the jet that are hypersonic missiles. These missiles can't get shot down. Wherever they fire at, they move so fast any defense system cannot take it. All this is the Lord's doing. At the same time, Donald Trump is trying to lock up all of our Latino brothers. He thinks he can turn our country, this country we built, into China, where he have our Latino brothers doing all the manufacturing. The boy is psycho. Now we in the end. Wake up, come into the body. So I'm inviting you down. I'm Commander General Young. I'm just an OG talk, okay? I done held this game 40 years. You owe me to at least come see me when I say, come see me before you hit that street. That's just respect. And you should know that, and everybody know that's how it runs. So come on, see me, man. You in good hands, you safe. Sister's gonna feed you. I wanna holler at you, man. I don't wanna see you after you make 10,000 or general. I wanna see you now so I can see where you start and where you finish. Come holler at me, man. The Midwest Fire Weekend. Captain Mawakwa, he's in charge. Him and his team from Chicago, they gonna do it up. And they do it every year, which is why it's so popular. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody come out, man. Now is the time. Bring this body together, man. I'll see y'all later. Did y'all want to say something before I go? Y'all good? I see you out there, man. Midwest Fire Weekend. Big shout out to Captain Mawakwa and his whole team out there. We'll see you then, y'all. Shalom.
Serious, and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who's anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do His will. I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put your faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play, cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo.
American honor don't lack no soldiers. For the Spirit of the Lord, we don't lack no soldiers.
Saint, Black, Hispanic, Native, they hate y'all as the same. Paint Christ in they image, paint you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate. African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell, toilet connected to the sink. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UBK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under your honor, ain't me murdered by them and got a hug from your honor. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priest bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, rank and order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ice agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game. Put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves. Chosen.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí.
Lord Commandant General Yohanan ISUPK.
This is what Commander General Yohanan did. This is what he did.
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. I had to dig.
That's right.
All right, let's clap it up. All right. First things first, I want to say shalom. First things first, I want to say shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar. Allah Shem Yahushua to the sisters. All right. Sister ISUPK. Israelite School, University of Practical Knowledge, to be exact. All right. ISUPK, Minnesota. I am officer and priest, 5,000 Maccabia, with the Brotherhood class. Let me see. No, there we go. All right. I'm signing Christ. All right. Hey, shout out to everybody that's tuned in for class today. If anybody has any questions or concerns, you can type it into the chat, all right? Let me pull up something real fast. All right, here we go. Yeah, once again, if you have any questions or concerns, you can type it into the chat, and we'll go ahead and answer those questions, all right? And again, we are not the Christian church, so you can ask anything about life, about personal issue, about what's going on in today's society. As we know, a lot is going on right now, which we are going to go over today. Okay. Also, to make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. All right. All right. So today, of course, as you know, this is a brotherhood class. We're speaking about brotherhood. We also speak about sisterhood as well, which is very, very important. If we're talking about one, we're also speaking about the other. Although in the Bible, we may see a lot of scriptures that may mention men, but it seems like it doesn't mention women at all, which that is not the case. Whatever the scriptures say applying to one group of people, it's always going to apply to the other side as well, right? So, as you know, for the last week or two, it's been a whole lot of talks about, the flood that happened in Texas, which we are going to speak about that again, right? Because there's more updated information. Also, too, we have to get into the story about the sister who unalived her manager at McDonald's at her job, right? Shit. I mean, what else is there to talk about? Of course, Donald Trump, the Epstein's files, okay? So if you are a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian descent, all right, you are the 12 tribes. You are 12 tribes, and your nation is Israel. You are God's chosen people. You are not from Africa. You're not African. You're not Mexican. You're not Black. You're not African American. Those are titles based on your captivity where you were in, which we are still into captivity right now, right? Throughout our captivities or slaveries being under our enemies, we have these, these titles that are not our titles. If you are a so-called Negro, you are a Judite or Judah. If you are a Latino, I mean, there's different tribes. You have Manasseh, the Cubans, the Simeon, which is Dominican. Issachar, which is the Mexicans. So the list goes on. If you are so-called Jamaican, Trinidadian, right, you would be the West Indians. Okay. I mean, once again, if you are Gad, right? So Gad is the North American Indians. Okay. So once again, we are made up of 12 tribes. We are family, and we are from the nation of Israel. And this class is for you, and specifically for you. All right. So let's get into it, man, because there's so much to dive into when it comes to this McDonald's story, Donald Trump, and the whole Texas flood. All right, y'all give me one second to pull this up. Let me dive into this real fast. Also, too, the Midwest Fire Weekend is coming up July 31st. All right. July 31st through August 3rd. And as you know, Commanding General Yohana is going to have a lecture. And also there's going to be a whole lot of, events going on throughout that week. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. All right, so let me grab the story. I'm going to put the story on the screen. All right. All right, let's see if everybody can see that. All right. Actually, let me put it full screen just for a second. Well, before I do that, right? All right, so in Detroit, as we know, Detroit is one of those popular, cities in the Midwest. And in Detroit, there's a sister who was working at McDonald's. And of course, she has this manager who is a Black woman as well. And these are two sisters, right? So the employee, the sister, she decides to unalive her manager. Now, of course, she was sent home earlier that day, and I'm not sure exactly why she was sent home. But based on her being sent home, it was enough to, make her angry, to come back to the job and to unalive her manager. Now, with the charges that she received, it was said that she planned this out. And honestly, looking at the evidence, it looks like it was going to happen sooner or later. All right? Which is the sad part about this. Because I can think about, reading the story and dissecting it for myself, I can see how all of this could have been avoided to the point where somebody could receive justice if there was any if anybody was wrong in this situation, right? Not saying about the unalivement, but before the unalivement happened. Meaning, I can see what could have been implemented in order to avoid this, right? To avoid anybody going to prison for the rest of their lives, and also for somebody losing their life. Because what happens is when somebody loses their life, man, somebody's on the other side mourning. People got children out here. People got, family out here, friends, loved ones that love these people that are losing their life over something so simple that could have been handled with a conversation. All right? A very mature conversation. And we are going to dive into that as well, all right? So let's get into it. Yeah, premeditated, absolutely, yes. And like based on the evidence, this looks like it was premeditated, okay? Like if y'all, like I'm gonna get into it, all right? Because this is a sad story, but we are gonna read it and get into it, okay? All right, let's get it. Let me see. All right, let's read the title real quick. So it reads, right? What police say led to McDonald's worker killing her manager in East Point? You know, it's like unaliving her manager in East Point. So if you know, East Point is in Michigan, all right, near Detroit area. Shout out to ISUPK Detroit. So it reads, right? It says a McDonald's worker has been charged with murder for allegedly stabbing her manager to death. And we now know new details about what led to the attack. Now, before I even read into this, right? Before I read into this, I do want to say this. I first saw the story on TikTok, and I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and at first, I didn't understand what the hell I was looking at. And the reason why is because you had a sister, and this sister was simply just explaining the story. But she wasn't giving out too much details. But I went to the comments, and I was able to follow the story better. And then I went back to the original video that I was watching, okay? And what I saw is mental health, all right? No, I'm sorry. Mental illness, all right? Mental illness is what I saw in this entire situation. A lack of sisterhood is what I saw in this entire situation. And I'm gonna explain more about that. Okay, I'm gonna explain more by what I mean with mental health, mental illness, and also the lack of compassion and love for one another. All right, brotherhood and sisterhood is synonymous. It's one and the same. All right, so let's read. Okay, so it reads, right? Afeni Muhammad, 26, of East Point, was arraigned on Friday, July 11th, on the charges of first degree murder, carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent, and being a habitual offender. Habitual offender just means that she was in trouble with the law before, right? Second offense in connection with the fatal stabbing of a 39-year-old Jennifer Harris at McDonald's at 9 Mile Road in East Point. So also too, it has been a rumor that said that she has stabbed somebody before in the past, but I guess they survived, right? It's not too much that I could find on that right now, but however, let's keep going. Before the arraignment began, East Point Detective Showers read the swear to before the judge to set forth the facts for the warrant request in the case. The detective said that on Thursday, July 11th, Muhammad stabbed Harris multiple times with a kitchen knife at the McDonald's restaurant. Harris wasn't armed and died from her injuries. Prior to the stabbing, Muhammad was sent home by Harris for not performing her work duties and told Harris, "I'll be back," said Showers. The detective said the knife was recovered at the scene and Muhammad was taken into custody. Let's keep going. She admitted that she intended to unalive the manager. Muhammad told authorities that after she was sent home for work, she drove to a nearby park before she decided to return to the McDonald's and stab Harris with a knife that she had inside her vehicle. Later on the arraignment, an assistant prosecutor said the knife was longer than 3 inches and that Harris was stabbed up to 15 times. When Muhammad returned to stab Harris, she entered the back entrance with a hooded mask over her face in an attempt to conceal her identity, said Showers. After the attack, Muhammad tried to flee but was stopped by an armed customer. Now, I'm pretty much going to stop right there, all right? Yeah. I'm going to stop right there. Now, with this story, like it's very sad, okay? It's very sad because, all right, so reading the article and looking at the video footage of, looking at the article and also looking at videos, what I saw and found out for myself is that for quite some time, you know, the manager has been sending this sister home because she was not doing her job correctly. Now, a lot of people has found Afeni Muhammad, which is the woman who's now in prison for stabbing her manager. What a lot of people have found is her Instagram account, and I found it myself, which is not private; it's very public for everybody to see. Right now, however, I'm not going to go and show everybody her Instagram account because there's a lot of stuff on there that's very disturbing. All right, a lot of things that might get us flagged. But however, what I saw is that this sister needs a lot of medical attention. Medical attention in the sense of she needs to speak to a therapist. She needs some type of special counseling. All right. And what you see in these videos is that this sister has something mentally off about her and that she needs to seek some type of help. And also, too, there's also a video that's on the internet right now that shows that she was playing around with a knife and she briefly mentioned how she was going to use it on someone. And it's being alluded that she's speaking about her manager. And when you look at the video, it kind of sounds like she's speaking about her manager because she's speaking about someone who has been bothering her as of late. And then she does have multiple other videos explaining her frustration with her manager sending her home early and how she has bills to pay and how she has things to, take care of to survive. Now, one thing I do want to say is this, right? I think there might have been a lack of communication because also in the video, she speaks about how her manager is, telling her to clock out, but she's not giving her a reason to. So it could be for a lot of different reasons. But I think there might have been a lack of communication. And I would love to hear from other witnesses that, that actually worked with this sister, inside the job. You know what I mean? And, may that sister rise again. But all of this could have been avoided if only they had a simple conversation with one another. All of this could have been avoided. All right, and also to shout out to Detroit, all right, Captain Hadaria Ali. Because, in Detroit, brothers have, committed other people from committing suicide before. So this right here would have been nothing. A simple counsel, a simple conversation could have deaded all of this. All right, to where nobody would have lost their lives. Somebody would have been in the wrong. Somebody would have received justice, and everybody would have still been alive and could have actually thrived. Okay? And the fact that this sister said, look, I'll be back, it's absolutely insane. All right? She said, I'll be back to, unalive you. And she tried to escape with, with a hooded, a hooded hoodie that was covering her face. Now, I went on to her Instagram account, and there's actually a hoodie that she wore. It's the same exact one, right? It's like a Spider-Man hoodie where it covers not only your head, but it covers your entire face to where it has a zipper, all right? And a lot of those are pretty popular until this very day. So, even though she tried to get away and she really didn't get too far, somebody still would have had, caught her and locked her up because she said that she was going to be back. All right. And also, too, all the evidence is on social media, which made her look guilty. But once again, what's really sad is that this sister needs help. And because of oppression, because of the lack of looking out for one another, we do not get that proper help that we truly need. A lot of times what happens in our communities is that we ignore the issues that we see inside of people. All right? And which is very dangerous. And because of that, somebody lost their life. Because that, because if it is very true, if it's true that this sister was getting sent home and was not told why, then the problem is it was just a lack of communication. And maybe that communication could have had prevented all of this. All right, but however, I do want to pull a few precepts. Let me see here. Salakia. Y'all give me one moment. Let me step off the camera for 1 second. Give me like a minute or two, all right? Salakia, y'all bear with me.
Yeah. What's going on, Israel? Commander General Yohana, ISUBK, doing it like we do. I can't stop, and I ain't gonna use no baby oil. We're gonna do it right, you know, right? Okay, we're gonna keep it righteous, but we're gonna keep pushing this truth to save brothers and sisters' life. So I'm on today to tell you about the Midwest Fire Weekend. Now, brothers out of Chicago and the whole Midwest, Detroit, Kentucky, who else they got? Indianapolis. There's a ton of cities in that Midwest. Forgive me if I missed those cities. And all those brothers are going to come together for the Midwest Fire Weekend. And what's going to happen in the Midwest Fire Weekend? It's the biggest and best, one of the biggest and best opportunities for you to get a close-up look at your brothers teaching this truth. A lot of you brothers are out there, been studying, you joining the knowledge, you ready to go, you know you got to hit that street eventually, you getting your crew together, y'all working on these scriptures, but this is what I want you to understand. I want you to take a moment and come through the ISUBK so you can wash all them lies that they've been telling you about before you get here. You're going to have to do that for yourself so you don't get played out here. So this week, that weekend, July 31st to August 3rd, I got General Muhammad here. All of you seen his class. Nobody matches it. He's bad to the bone with the knowledge of the truth. I got Cat McCard with me right here. Another bad cat runs the Hebrew Academy. You see all of them tapes all over the internet, busting millions of views right now, killing the game. You understand? I got brothers coming through to do expungement. Got so much freely to every brother to show you that the greatest weapon he ever had.
All right, Salaki, I'm back. All right, the water for bearing with me real quick. All right, so yeah, just back to the story real quick, right? So once again, like there are so many things that I could think about, so many scriptures that pop in my head and protocols in mind that could have actually, stopped this from happening. And one thing that we all need to understand, right? One thing that we all need to understand, before somebody unalives somebody, before you commit any type of action, it starts in here first, okay? And we got a scripture just to prove that, right? This is the first thing that I really want to get into. Where is it at? Yeah, let's get into the book of Ephesians, all right? The book of Ephesians is going to show you in any situation where you are angry with what you should not do, okay? Especially with this, this situation that happened out there in Detroit, man. Once again, my prayers go out to, that sister, man, and and her family. All right, that watching that interview with the sister Jennifer Harris, seeing her daughters talk about how great of a person she was, and amazing, and that she wouldn't be so evil and cruel to anybody. And so the idea of their mother being gone is just very damaging and very shocking. Okay. Let me see. Let me get Let me put this up on the screen. Y'all give me 1 second. If the internet will just start acting right, this damn technology be acting weird sometimes. Okay, here we go. All right. Where we at? All right, so this is the book of Ephesians, right? This is Paul. And this is chapter 4, verse 26, and it reads, "Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." Now, with what happened out there in East Point, Michigan, with this sister unaliving her manager and seeing all those videos to show proof that it was premeditated, that it was going to eventually happen, that she planned this, okay? She had all the weapons in the vehicle. She thought about it. She planned it out, her escape plan, what she was going to do once it did happen. The Bible says, look, man, be angry and sin not. Now, of course, this sister was very pissed off. And you are going to see that. She mentions it. She implies everything. All right, she implies how she's frustrated and that she's tired and that, she don't know what to do. So her last choice was to unalive her manager because of because she was angry and upset about being sent home, and she wasn't understanding why. Now, once again, communication is everything. And if they simply would have had a woman-to-woman conversation, it could have ended differently, to where both people would have had their lives. Because not only did the sister, Jennifer Harris, lose her life, but now this sister, Afeni Muhammad, she lost her life too, behind bars. Okay? Like, both lives are, destroyed because of what? Because you got sent home, you mad, and because of that anger, you acted out on it. Now, understand this, right? There's nothing wrong with being angry. You might be angry for a lot of different reasons. You may be valid or validated in your anger. I got you. But understand that anger is an emotion that comes and goes, just like many emotions. But however, with those emotions, what's very important to understand is how you act on it. It's what you do. Because at the end of the day, you are the one that is in control of those emotions. No one can make you do anything with your physical body. Whatever you choose to do with your actions is on you, not nobody else. No one can force you to pull the trigger. No one can force you to smoke and do those drugs that you love doing. No one can force you to say or do anything. Understand that you have the control over what you do with your body, what you say with your words. So again, the Bible says, be angry and sin not. There's a way to be angry and not let it cause it to be a sin. I believe the Bible says a wise man, for oppression maketh a wise man mad. Mad and anger are in the same family, if you ask me. But once again, it's all about what you do with that anger. That sister should have been so angry at the fact that she was being sent home so much without an explanation. She should have took a more practical route. She should have went back to the job when it was time for her to clock in and say, hey, Miss Manager so-and-so, can I talk to you for a second? Pulled her to the side and simply said, hey, I know you've been sending me home lately, and it seems like, you're not really explaining why. Can we have a conversation to discuss on, what's going on? And that would have been a better approach versus someone stabbing another person. It said that she stabbed this sister 15 times. And I'm not a lawyer or a prosecutor, right? But I do know a little bit about the law. Based on how you unalive somebody can sometimes determine how much time you get behind bars. All right? Because it's one thing to stab somebody one time, because one time, that's all it takes to take somebody's life. But 15 times, that says a lot behind your intent to unalive this person. To stab somebody 15 times says that you really wanted to unalive this person, that you wanted them to not survive, that you wanted to cut their water off, you know? And it's very unfortunate, man. Very, very unfortunate. And that's the problem. We don't know how to deal with issues or conflicts. We don't know how to go to one another without punching or shooting or stabbing or harming each other, saying bad things behind each other's backs. That's our issue. And of course, like I always like to do, I like to put the blame where the blame should always be. I blame our oppressor. Because of oppression, because we live in a society, an age in society where in order to get somebody's attention, in order to get your point across, you may have to choose violence, which is not the case. Because that temporary anger that she had caused a permanent issue. The problem was not solved. She thought the problem was to eliminate this person off of this earth. But in actuality, it caused a bigger issue. She's now behind bars for probably the rest of her life. Her bond is $25 million. Who the hell has that type of money to just, bail somebody out? Unless you are white, a lot of times, unless you are someone who has wealth beyond someone's imagination, someone who's filthy rich, like Donald Trump, right? Because he has all the money to get himself out of trouble, legal trouble. But this sister is behind bars for the rest of her life. And I believe it's at $25 million. It's set. Bond is set, or bail, right? No, bond, I believe. It's set for $25 million without parole. So come on, man. And then this sister lost her life. She left behind 6 children. It says that she was a single mother of 6 children. And once again, man, may that sister rise again. It was very unfortunate. Like imagine a world that's coming very soon, once Christ returns, once we all do the work as Black, Hispanic, Native Indians, right? Imagine a world where a woman sends her employee home for whatever reason, more than one time, and the employee is so upset. Instead, within her anger, she has wisdom. She has wisdom to know that she was taught, when you are angry at somebody, you go talk to them. You don't fight them. You don't choose to take their life, but instead, you pull them to the side to figure out what's the issue. However, this sister grew up in an environment. This sister grew up in an environment to where all she could think about was hurting this other individual. Because in her mind, she's hurt. She's upset. She's mad. She's feeling some type of way. And because she feels that type of way, she wants somebody else to feel what she feels, pain. And once again, when you look at this sister's social media account, and you go through her videos and her pictures, this sister looks like she's been through all types of trauma. It looks like this sister was dealing with self-identity issues, meaning that she didn't know how to be herself fully as a woman, and better yet, to be black, to be a black woman. she didn't step into who she truly is. It looks like she was dealing with self-identity, which is called an identity crisis in most cases. She was on the side of the oppressor's way of life. When you watch these videos, when you look at these pictures of her social media, and not to mention, I mean, it looks like she never received proper love from parents, her family, for that matter. All right. Now, I'm not a psychologist, but I have been around to know a few things, a few psychological things when it comes to people and how they live their life, how they act. All right. Once again, I'm not a psychologist. All right. But however, I have been around nothing but people all my life and study people to know that something is not clicking. All the screws are not screwed in properly. Okay. Hopefully you guys understand. So once again, it says, "Be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." Meaning this, right? If you feel like you've been disrespected, if you feel like someone has disrespected you, or I'm sorry, I think a better word is honored you, said something that was not correct, that was not tasteful. Someone did something that was deemed wrong. Instead of you sitting there allowing it to happen, the best thing to do is to approach that person that potentially offended you and have a conversation. But however, if you are a brother or a sister where you get so angry to where you cannot think straight, you are not logical or practical in your actions. You are a person that needs to wait for a time to calm down. No sweat. You got it. No sweat. Once you are calm enough and sound-minded, you should go to that person, to them alone. Don't go to the internet. Don't call everybody else, right? Don't talk to everybody else. Talk to the individual who offended you based on something that they did or said to you. That thing that rubbed you the wrong way. But go to that person when you're not angry. But however, express the concern, the thing that made you feel some type of way. And in that situation, it could be where you had the wrong idea. They didn't mean it like that. They didn't mean to do that. Or it could be the other way around, so where, they did offend you. And from there, with you going to him alone and her alone, what you are going to do in that situation is try to gain that brother or that sister by talking it out. Instead of talking behind each other's backs, instead of fighting and inflicting harm on each other, you are going to talk it out. But however, this is this, right? If that person does not apologize, then there are rules and protocols on what to do next. And let's jump into that right now, right? Now with brotherhood, we always get the scripture, Matthew 18 and 18 and 15, which is a scripture that we always get, because this is what you must do first before anything. All right. Let's see here. John, I can get that in a second. All right. Let me see what time is it. Yeah, Tom, I got you. I'll go ahead and wrap it. All right. In a second here. So let's get Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. All right. Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Before I get that, right. So when it says, "Let not the sun go down upon your wrath," meaning, don't wait years. Don't wait 10, 15 years. Don't wait weeks and months to try to discuss that issue on why you are mad and upset with that person. All right, or it can be multiple people. And Yeah, man. Because what's going to happen is that's going to be held in emotions, which is a grudge. A grudge is that thing that you hold on to, that thing that happened to you, that thing that happened to you when you were 10, when you were 20, when you were 15, and now you are a man or a woman in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. So many years, so many seasons has went by, and you're around these people that you have been feeling offended by all this time, and then out of nowhere, you spaz out. You get angry, and you just burst out. And you just start, attacking everybody verbally, or you attack somebody physically. And honestly, this is what happened to the sister in this case after McDonald's in Michigan. Like, come on, man. Like, when you really get down to the root of this, you're going to find out that something happened to the sister that made her do this. Because a lot of times, too, with all the people that are in prison, most people would think, like, okay, why? Like, what would make somebody unalive this person? What would make somebody, do what they did? And some people do snap. That is the thing. That's why I believe that this sister, it's not acceptable at all. But I believe the reason why this sister did what she did is because she is mentally unstable. And if she was mentally fixed, this would have went a lot different. And nobody would have lost their life. Nobody. All right. So once again, so yeah, man. Like don't let the damn sun go down upon your wrath. If somebody offends you, what you need to do as a man and as a woman, which is the most mature thing to do, is hash it out. You know what I mean? Go talk to that person. See if you were in the wrong. See if your feelings, or if this thing that you are feeling is a offense, is really a offense or not. Okay? Instead, do not sit back and ponder about it. Because what's going to happen is that's what Satan is going to play on that, those thoughts, those emotions. And then now you have a demon on you, thinking that somebody else got a demon on them. Like, come on, man. You got to be careful. All right? All right, so let's see. Let me see. Let's get Matthew. All right? Let me see. All right, this is Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. All right? It reads, moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. Now let's break it down. So, moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee. Now, what does trespass mean? Let's get into what trespass means. Anybody online? What does the word trespass mean? All right, let's see. Now I know it already, but I just want to grab a definition. All right, so it says trespass, to make an unwarranted or invited incursion. Incursion. Okay. Otherwise, another word in simple terms means to violate. Like, for example, when you violate your probation, right? The word violate is a very strong word. When you violate your probation, that simply means trespass. You've broken the rules of your contract. All right. Your probation says, hey, this is the rules of your probation. You can't do this, X, Y, and Z. So if you violate it, that means you trespass, you've broken the rules of your probation. So you violated that. All right? So in this sense, when you trespass against your brother, you have violated that. You have did them a great disservice. You have offended them, which is a sin, which is a mistake. Now great thing about a trespass, it can be fixed. All right? A trespass, there's always a solution to things like that. Now, moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. Now, this is very important because this stops all of the unreliance, all of the backbiting. This stops over this stops over 200 million or 2 million over that amount of men and women behind bars, right? Who are sitting in there because he said, she said, bullshit, right? It stops all of that at the door, all right? Like also too, man, I'll say the Christian church is such a joke. Like I keep seeing videos within the last couple of months. I keep seeing videos of preachers getting weapons pulled on them, guns pulled on them, right? I keep seeing church members fighting each other inside of the church in the middle of service. Hallelujah, right? Good night. Y'all supposed to be in a Christian church praising God, but meanwhile, y'all catching fades. Y'all supposed to be catching the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, but y'all catching fades in the middle of the sermons. Like God is not in that church. All right, and also too, God was not with that sister. God was not with that sister who decided to think that was a great idea to take her manager's life. And although that sister is behind bars, I pray that you know she's able to repent for what she done. I hope she's able to realize what she did, and she's able to repent and hopefully change her life around. And although this is going to be hard for the family, you know, I hope that somewhere down the line they can forgive the sister. And I pray that sister to change her mind. And I pray that she gets all the help that she truly needs. Someone has failed that sister. And because of that, her life is now destroyed. All right? All right, so let me get back to this real quick. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. Now, once again, if you go to that person, whether you are male or female, woman or man, all right, brother or sister, right? If somebody has offended you, and you go to them, they should say, I apologize. That's something that should come out their mouth. If they tell you, oh man, you know, you just being emotional. Man, I ain't trying to hear that, man. You soft as hell. If a brother or sister tells you, if a brother or sister does not apologize when you explain the offense, now the thing is, maybe you are being emotional. Maybe you are in the wrong. But at least that brother or sister should say, you know what, I apologize. I didn't mean to make you feel like that. This is what I really meant by that. You know, I didn't mean to, you know, put my hands on you and do X, Y, and Z. Because if it gets to a point where there's no apology, after you have came to that person as a man or a woman, and there's no apology within, you know, that conversation, take that person to counsel. And also too, right? A lot of people are afraid of counsel when there's nothing to be afraid of. Once again, if somebody offends you, which is a violation, right? Somebody does something that's dishonorable to you, you would want justice. At least I would think, right? If somebody wrongs you, you would want justice. Taking that person to counsel, that is not apologizing for the the trespass, you deserve justice. And that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. It's not about getting somebody in trouble. Don't worry about their rank. Don't worry about their status. Don't worry about any of that. What you need to do is always, in every situation possible, when somebody wrongs you, always seek out justice. And when you see somebody else get wrong, you should also seek justice for them. That's what you do in the ISUPK. All right? And it's not just about those that are inside of the UPK, but we do that for everybody, even on the streets, man. We do it for our retired nation. If we see something that's out of order, yeah, we want to make sure that it stays in order, that it is put in order. Because if things are out of order, then it's only going to get worse from there. Nothing good comes out of you are offended by what somebody did, but you don't go talk to them. You not talking to them is going to cause issues later down the line. To the point where not only is it going to cause issues for you or possibly that other person, but other people who are not even involved in the situation. All right, so once again, go to him and him alone. You sisters, go to her and her alone. Do not go to your loudmouth friends. Do not go to the internet. Go to that person who wronged you. That's how you handle that. All right. Let me see. What time is it? Hey, I'm gonna get your question shortly. All right. Just give me 1 second. All right. So yeah, brother had a question about Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 1 through 4. All right. I'm gonna get that in a second. In the meantime, if y'all could like, share, subscribe, comment, if y'all don't mind, about the shop, which means please in Hebrew. All right. I'm gonna jump off this topic in a second. I don't be too long with it because I know we got a little crunch for time. All right. Let me see. All right. I'm gonna grab 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1, real fast. All right. Let's grab that. So once again on the topic, right? As a community, as Black and Brown, Black, Hispanic, and Indians, we all have a job to do. Sometimes we have to insert ourselves in the right things. Meaning, in this situation with this brother, in a situation with these sisters, what we should have did was evaluated what was happening. Somebody should have saw that this sister was not well. And because once again, it says that this was her second offense. And our rumors going around saying that she has done this before, that she has attacked somebody before in the work environment. But I guess, they wasn't alive this time, right? So we have to help those that cannot help themselves. And a lot of times there are people who are sick that do not know that they're sick. But the responsibility as a brother and a sister, what you should do is always look out for one another. Not just your own loved ones, but for those brothers and sisters that you don't even know at all. Those that are on the streets, the homeless. All right, the Bible says to protect and defend the father and the fatherless, the widow, the afflicted. That is our job and our responsibility. Now, however, because of religion, we are more concerned about our own selves. And we learned that from Pastor Porkchop, who showed us, all right, you know what, let's talk about blessings. Let's talk about prosperity. Let's talk about what's going to be, in my pockets. Let's talk about, money. But nobody ever discusses the real issues that plague us every single day. All right? There are brothers and sisters out there who are mentally challenged have drug addiction, alcoholism, brothers who are dealing with trauma that has not been looked into. Imagine that. Imagine you going through whatever you've been through in life and not actually taking the proper steps to handle it. And then later in life, because of that unhealed trauma, it now comes out and you end up unaliving somebody. Now you end up destroying relationships. You end up taking your life. You end up destroying everything around you, including yourself. Like, of course, in the church, they talk about God, but they don't talk about the real issues. And the issue is child molestation, homosexuality, being sexualized. No one talks about the what else? Self-identity, your self-image. Those are the things that are going to help our people. How to handle a dispute, how to de-escalate a situation before it gets bad. Like that's really what should be talked about within our community. All I see is the Israelite school, a universal practical knowledge that is teaching out here in the streets. That's all I see. Like the Bible is our blueprint to everything possible. Anything that you can think of. You name a problem, I can answer it with this Bible, which is the solution. We have a solution. Any questions or concerns can be answered through this book that was given to us. All right. So let's see here. All right, let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1, real fast, all right? This is Paul. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to the law before the unjust, and not before the saints? So, this is Paul, who was writing a letter to the brothers out there in Corinth, right? Because Paul wrote letters to all of the seven schools, that are pretty much on what to do. So he was writing letters concerning all the 7 schools because, of course, with the correspondence and communication, it was through letters, right? It was through writings, and of course, Paul is getting all of these reports about how the school was being ran in Corinth, in Rome, and what else? Yeah, so on and so forth. Right, all the 7 schools, right? It's 7 of them. I get all of them. I mean, some of them, right? But Paul is writing all these letters to these schools, and they are, and the men that are running the schools are reporting to Paul about what's happening. So Paul responds in particular with in the school of Corinth. He is saying, "Dare any of you having a matter against another, go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints." So he's saying, like, okay, so you're telling me there is a issue between one brother to another, and you go to you bring the law to the unjust, meaning to the people that have no authority, to the people who are not counselors or judges, right? You bring your issues. You bring your matters to the unjust before the saints. So he's saying, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you bringing your issues to a people that cannot judge judge these matters? Instead of going to the saints, to the people that are actually judges, who can actually make the right logical decisions on what to do. Instead, you go to the people who are going to tell you whatever you want to hear, whatever sounds good. Now, one thing about judgment, counsel, it doesn't always sound good. You're going to be told things that might emotionally hurt you. It might kill your ego, kill your pride. It might go against how you truly think and feel. But at the end of the day, it's about justice. Now, everything that the judge in America might decide, it might not, it might not sound right. It might not look right. But it was probably the best decision for that person. Now, once again, that's very subjective, okay? Because we know in America, as a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Indian, we know that we get judged unrighteously a lot of times. But there are some times where, that charge that you received, it makes sense. Did you see what you did? I mean, did you expect to be let off because of what? Because you have money? Because you know a few people? Because, you have been through a lot. You know what I mean? So, let's keep going real quick. Verse 2. Do ye not know, do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Now, even Paul's like, okay, don't you know, don't you know that you are going to, I didn't change it, hold on, my bad. He's saying, don't you know that, the saints are going to judge the world? Like the saints are the brothers in the ISUPK, those who have been ordained by the Most High to not only preach and teach, but to also handle matters, small and big. Like, once again, what happened in McDonald's in East Point, Michigan, that is a small matter that could have been handled and judged. But because that small matter was not judged, judgment was taken in the hands of this woman, Afeni Muhammad. And she took it to her own hands and unalived her sister, her manager. Right? But now, of course, she followed her own counsel. She thought to herself, in order to get back to my manager for her sending me home, she said, I got so free. She said, I'll be back. And her get back was to take her life, which was not correct whatsoever. If only that sister would have had the right people around her. She had an environment to where her mind would have told her, you know what, let me go pull that sister to the side. Let me just holler at her real quick. Let me hear her out before I decide to do something that I know I'm going to regret for the rest of my life. That would have been a better outcome, a better way of thinking. All right? So do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Like, come on, man. If the Lord calls you to, show you gifts of handling and de-escalating a situation, then amen. It's time to go to work. It's time to step in. All right? Like one thing that we have to do is we have to truly, as a community, look out for one another. We have to stop thinking about ourselves all the time. There's a time and place for everything. There's a time to insert yourself, and there's a time not to. All right? Of course, under the ISUPK, you will learn properly in each situation or scenario on when to insert and not insert yourself in situations. Because sometimes inserting yourself in certain things can backfire. But that's just needed somebody to talk to. Somebody needs to tell that sister, hey, are you crazy? Do you really want to throw your whole life away? Are you sure that you really want to go down that route? Well, yeah. And she keep doing this, she keep doing that. Well, look, hey, how about you calm down? You are just emotional right now. I get it. How about this? How about you go pull her to the side and talk to her. If your manager not trying to holler at you, talk to her boss and figure it out. There are so many ways that this could have went. Okay? All right, but I'm gonna get off that real quick. All right, let me see. All right, but I'm gonna get to your question shortly because I know we gotta get out of here. All right. Let me see. So long story short, I probably got 1,000 more precepts, but long story short, right? In the spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood, we have to learn how to talk to each other. Talking to each other is not. Talking to each other has to be more accepted. It has to be a new trend to where we, instead of bashing each other, attacking each other, we should actually talk and sit down and be adults. All right, it's really time for us to be responsible for the things that we say and do, because we are losing our life, whether it's death or behind bars, or we are losing and destroying relationships because of something that we said or did. And the more somebody talks, and the more somebody, attacks, the worse it gets. All right? Because how can you come back from that? From taking somebody's life? Like, good night. All right, so let's get the brother question real quick. So like you said, you can hear a glitch. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second here. So let me see. Yeah, hopefully that worked out. So I'm not sure what's going on. All right, yes, I'm not sure what's going on. It might be a technical issue. It is storming right now as well, so that might play a big part into it as well. So Salaki, but I'm gonna try my best to get through your question, and that'd be that. All right. So your question was regarding marriage, right? So Deuteronomy chapter 24. Let's go ahead and get there real quick. All right, let's see where we are. Hey, at the water too, I'll let you know about the sound. So, I'm gonna make sure that we can get that fixed by tomorrow. We're allowed. All right, so it reads right here. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it comes to pass, that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. I think I know where this is going. Verse 2. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Verse 3. And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband died, which took her to be his wife, verse 4, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled, for that is abomination before the Lord. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. All right, so, okay. All right, so that is a lot to go over. I ain't gonna lie to you. So that's a good question. If you could, Dr. Shaw, let's answer that question tomorrow for the scripture breakdown class. All right. And the reason being is because there's a lot of layers to this actual to all 4 verses. All right, and there's a few good precepts to go over when considering this, right? Because today we do not do we do not divorce out of a woman for just anything. In order to divorce your wife, you have to divorce her if she fornicates on you. Okay? All right? So your question, I'm assuming, right? Isn't it unrighteous to divorce? Yeah, isn't it unrighteous to divorce? Yeah. Yeah, so it is unrighteous to divorce your woman, right? But however, it's not unrighteous. If she whores on you, you can divorce your woman. But it is unrighteous if you divorce her for, like, she pissed you off. Okay? Now you have to consider this, right? And understand this. At that time, that bill was written because of just simply the fact of the man, was tired of that woman. Was it right? Absolutely not. It wasn't. But because of the suffering, it's the reason why that bill was written for divorce. But however, that's not something that we do today. And I can explain that more tomorrow, because I want to not only go over Deuteronomy, but we have to go over another book that explains, the letter of divorce. Okay? And as you know, the ISUPK, we do not ever teach divorce at all. We always teach about marriage, because sex is marriage. When you lay down with that person, you have to be with them for the rest of your life. But however, when it comes to divorce, there are rules and protocols that are in place before somebody ever divorces anybody. Okay? There's always something else in place first before that happens. Now, however, if a woman whores on you and there is evidence, then that's a wrap. That's it. That's not a woman anymore. All right? She has said, like, look, hey, pretty much, since I slept with somebody else, I'm not tied to you anymore. That's what she said to that man. And whoever she sleeps with next, that's their problem, not yours. Now, however, if you go back and sleep with that woman, that's a sin on you and her. All right? So once again, we can jump into that tomorrow a little bit more, but it's pretty straightforward. We do not divorce a woman for just anything. All right? And also, too, divorcement, you're not going to get a piece of paper. All right? You're not going to get a piece of paper saying that you are not tied to that man or tied to that woman anymore. Because that's Esau's way of life. Now, if you both are on a contract, right, which what a marriage is, a marriage license, which is a business license, that's all it really is. Okay? It doesn't mean a goddamn thing. It doesn't consummate the marriage. But when you lay down with that person, that's the thing that makes the agreement between you and her, or her and him. When you lay down with each other. All right. So, yeah, if that woman tells you, like, hey, I'm with so and so, there's evidence, that's not your woman anymore. That's somebody else's wife. And let that be that. And do not be a fool to sleep with her, because now you have committed a sin, because now you slept with somebody else's woman. Although you might have had her first, or whatever the case may be, but just understand that's not your woman. If she leaves you and sleeps with somebody else. And you brothers out there, right? You can divorce a sister in a wicked manner, meaning you can't do this, but some brothers in the world, they would do this, right? They as soon as they get mad enough, say they don't like the shorty's mouth, they don't like the way that she looks, they will leave her and abandon her, which is a sin. All right? And if that man tells you that he don't want nothing to do with you, you're not his woman anymore, stop calling him X, Y, and Z, then that's that. That's not your husband. All right? But once again, you got to get proper counsel when it comes to things like that, just to make sure that is what it is. All right? You can't just say that. That's the rules. I mean, there are rules that show you if that is the case or not. There's protocols behind all of that, right? But however, once again, yeah, Tony, if you could tomorrow, we'll go over it a little bit more, right? All right, so whether it be me or the teacher for tomorrow, okay? All right, let's see, what else we got here, man? What else we got here? All right, so briefly, I do want to talk about this too, just real quick before we get out of here. Okay, regarding the Texas flood, right? Regarding the Texas flood that happened last week, a man by the name of Sheriff Larry Lee, I believe his name is. All right, he is the sheriff over Kerr County. And pretty much this is a man, by the way, a sheriff, who has been on the record how he spoke ill against the Hispanics, against the Mexicans out there in Texas. And this man had got caught up in a flood, which another flood didn't happen, by the way, in Texas. And within this flood, this man decided to call, he had a number on speed dial. And that number was, to I believe a sister who was Hispanic, who sent her men, Mexican men, down to where that sheriff was, him and his family, to get rescued. And once he got rescued, he spoke some nice words for the actual Hispanics. It says that he owed his life to these Mexicans for them saving not only him but his family, and also too they saved other people out in that barn as well. But I'm talking about they was almost unalive by that flood. And whenever he made that call, the Hispanics, they came and rescued the sheriff and also a group of other people. And I do have footage as well. All right. Let me see. All right, let's get it. All right, I'll play this video. Let me see if I get it up.
For a green card for the Mexican rescue team that rescued his family, and that they will not be restricted from entering or exiting the U.S. border in the future.
Okay, I'm not sure about
this statement caused
sound, right?
public outcry because.
All right, fine, doesn't matter, right? So the whole purpose of this right here is to show, all right, it is to show right here that this sheriff, who, by the way, is racist, okay? He was racist and who spoke ill against the Hispanics. He was saved by these Mexicans, man. And you can see how high that flood was. Mind you, look at the Hispanics, man. They don't have all the proper care to be in those waters to rescue somebody. But however, they went in that water without no fear. And you can't tell me that this is God's chosen people, man. You can't tell me that the Hispanics, the Latinos, are not a people who give a damn, who actually care, who actually has a heart. You telling me these are the people that are, unalivers, that assaulting everybody, that are criminals? Come on, man. These Hispanics, these Latinos will do anything and everything for everybody, including the oppressor. Once again, this man on record has showed his hatred towards the Mexicans, and yet we came and rescued his family and him. So now, also too, the least that he can do is not give us hell when we're trying to cross the border. Now, what's time for this oppressor to do is to lay down his life. Meaning this, it's time for him to use all his white privilege for the betterment of us. So when somebody comes up against the Mexicans in Texas, it's time for him to speak against them. All right, so that way we can just live, man. Cross that border. Not get the book thrown at us in prison, and just live our life, man. Because once again, man, Hispanics, Latinos, Mexicans, they are going through hell out there in Texas, on the borders. Rio Grande, Mexico, Venezuela. Like, the least that these devils can do is allow us to finally, just live, man, in that place. So once again, our oppressions the devil that the Bible speaks of course, you can't trust them, but that devil owns the Mexicans. Now, we are not even. We are not even whatsoever. But that devil right there, he owes us his life. All right, because we saved his life and his family. When as soon as he called, I mean, the woman, I believe the woman's like the mayor or president of Mexico or something like that. She could have literally said no. When he called and said, "I need help," she could have just said no. And we would have never came. Never. But however, we did. So, I mean, something has to give. It's time to allow. It is time to allow Black Hispanics, especially Latinos, to cross that border without any issues. All right, it's time for us to be empowered down in Texas. All right, it's time for you to go up against, use your white privilege to go up against all the other devils that hate the Mexicans. It's time for you to, man, come on, man, sprinkle some of that white privilege for our benefit, for protection, for shelter. That's what you can do. You want to thank us? Don't sweat. I have a list of demands. All right. So that happened as a little small update. Otherwise, Donald Trump, as you know, he's turning this entire earth upside down with, of course, the big beautiful bill, right? Also to end tariffs. He's trying to send out more tariffs against other countries and places like Russia and Ukraine, right? What else? He also stole. I guess it seemed like he robbed one of the sports, one of the soccer sports, FIFA. We talk FIFA. He robbed them of a trophy, and as he came out to get the trophy, everybody booed him because nobody gives a damn about that man. But he's only there for his own benefit, to get a check and to rob and steal and cast out lives. So that's really all that's been happening amongst Donald Trump. Oh, as far as Jeffrey Epstein, the files, once again, now Donald Trump is talking about, why is people talking about it? Why is everybody mentioning this man that commits suicide? Well, it's because that list is resurfacing. That list that was said at one point in time that was on this woman's table, and now she comes back out and says it's not. There is no list no more. Well, the list has been exposed, but we are going to expose that later. All right, we are running out of time. We can definitely get that list, and you will be very surprised who is on it. It's going to be somebody that you love, somebody that you admire, somebody that you thought was so innocent, so noble. But until next time, all right? So with that being said, imagine what she's saying. And again, it's a lot for the audio. All right? We'll allow you to fix that tomorrow. Let's get into security announcements. All right? All right. This is the ISUPK. Start out at 1 West. That's right. It's out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Ruth, a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be secluded only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister
will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the hand to marry. Tithe, which is the commandment. You can find it in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Also, Malachi chapter 3, 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew, by Joshua. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the church department or teacher. A priest fund. 3 will offer for a priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. So as you know, September 21st at sundown, we have the feast of or at the memorial of blowing of trumpets. All right. So September 21st, in the next 2 months or so. Anyone wants to be a trooper in the school to start wearing all black, blue shirt, pants, head, and a scarf. All right. With that being said, I advise you to be standing. We'll find out down, which is face to the east. And for time's sake, we are going to get into the Lord's Prayer. All right. This is the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. You can find it in Matthew chapter 6, 8 through 13. And it reads, Abnau, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shabbat, Yahweh, Malach Baka, Kaba'ah, Bakazaka, Hayah, Asha, Bakaza, Kawab, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathalana, Natom, Kol, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kabawakawa, Kasalakawa, Kabawakanawa, Wala. Kaba'ayana, Wanasaiwan, Apol, Awshinawa, Mayan, Ra, Kayab, Laka, Kamalakwa, Waha'ala, Waha'ala, La Amalami, Aman. The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Amen. All right. So that's not just for time's sake. We did go over time a little bit. All right. Let's close it out. Man, Israel. Shabbat and Mashiach. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Shabbat. That's the top. Courtesy. Salute for the sisters. Sorry, which means return. Minute Israel, Shabbat, and Mashiach. Barak, Yahweh Shemar Al-Kal Bashem Yahweh. Now to the top. Class dismissed. All right, shalom, Israel.
From Christ was a real brotherhood.